Warning. Angry Johnson warns Iran of consequences of what they caused at sea by drone strike. Angry Boris Johnson tonight warned Iran it would face consequences for killing a Brit at sea in a drone strike, as the UK and allies mulled a cyber strike retaliation. The PM blamed the hostile state for the hit on oil tanker Mercer Street that left the security guard and a Romanian sailor dead, and is working with the US and Israel on how to respond. Government sources said a range of options was being drawn up for retaliation after Thursday's attack off Oman. A senior defense source said the most likely would be in cyberspace, warning nobody will see it here but they will be left in no doubt. You cannot kill a Brit unchecked. A Foreign Office insider added, a British national was killed and we have to make clear there are certain lines that can't be crossed. But the Foreign Secretary's first priority yesterday was rallying the UN Security Council and other powers in the Gulf to condemn Tehran's behavior. A special forces team flew out to join the stricken tanker and take charge of the investigation tonight. A source said they did not believe the unnamed Brit had been deliberately targeted. Iran's ambassador to the UK was summoned for a dressing down in London, but insiders said the regime's response was all smoke and mirrors. Middle East Minister James Cleverly told the Iranian diplomat that Tehran must immediately cease actions that risk international peace and security. The PM said Iran should face up to the consequences of what they have done and called on them to respect freedoms of navigation. Chair of the Commons Defense Select Committee Tobias Ellwood said the attack demands a proportionate response. For too long the West has allowed Iran's interference across the Middle East to go unchecked, he said. This latest drone strike on the high seas, which saw a Briton killed, absolutely demands a proportionate response from the UK, in concert with our allies. The Prime Minister lashed out after the Iranian ambassador in London was hauled into the Foreign Office for a dressing down after a UK national died in an outrageous attack on the oil tanker MV Mercer Street off the coast of Oman. The ship's Romanian captain was also killed in the strike, and Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has accused Iran of being behind the atrocity, which the regime denies. This is clearly an unacceptable and outrageous attack on commercial shipping. A UK national died. It is absolutely vital that Iran and every other country respects the freedoms of navigation around the world, and the UK will continue to insist on that. Tehran's top diplomat in Britain was summoned to Whitehall on Monday for a meeting with Mr. Raab's deputy, James Cleverly. Minister Cleverly reiterated that Iran must immediately cease actions that risk international peace and security, and reinforced that vessels must be allowed to navigate freely in accordance with international law. Tensions ramped up at the weekend after the Foreign Secretary accused Iran of being behind the unlawful and callous attack. We believe this attack was deliberate, targeted, and a clear violation of international law by Iran, he said. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also said Washington was also confident that Iran conducted this. But Iran has denied involvement in the attack. Iran has no hesitation in protecting its security and national interests and will respond promptly and strongly to any possible adventure, Iranian state television quoted Foreign Ministry spokesman Saeed Khatibzadeh as saying. He said he strongly regretted the baseless accusations made by the British Foreign Secretary against Iran, which were repeated by the U.S. Secretary of State in the same context and contained contradictory, false and provocative accusations. The Liberian-flagged, Japanese-owned ship is managed by London-based Zodiac Maritime, owned by Israeli billionaire Eyal Ofer.